In a tranquil village nestled between rolling hills, Jesus gathered his disciples by a serene lake. The sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, creating a backdrop for a moment of reflection. The air was filled with the gentle sounds of water lapping against the shore and the rustle of leaves in the soft evening breeze. As the disciples settled around him, they noticed a young woman at the edge of the water. Her name was Miriam, a kind-hearted soul known for her laughter and warmth. However, today her face was clouded with worry. Jesus, ever perceptive, turned to his disciples and said, "Let us listen to her story." With a gentle invitation, he called out to Miriam. She approached, hesitating at first, but then shared her burden. "Rabbi, I feel trapped in my own mind. My heart is heavy with fears and doubts, and no matter how hard I try, my body feels weary and drained. I cannot find joy." The disciples listened intently, their hearts aching for her. Jesus, sensing their concern, began a tale to illustrate a deeper truth. "There once was a great tree," he said, his voice soothing like a lullaby. "This tree stood tall and proud, its branches reaching towards the heavens. It bore fruit that nourished many. But as time passed, a storm swept through the land, shaking its roots and tearing at its leaves. The tree began to wilt, its fruit falling to the ground, forgotten. Yet, amidst the storm, a little bird found refuge in the tree's branches. The bird sang sweetly, and in that moment of chaos, the tree listened. The melodies danced through the air, reminding the tree of its purpose. It remembered the joy it once brought to the world. Slowly, as the storm subsided, the tree found strength in the bird's song. It reached deeper into the earth, drawing nourishment from its roots. In time, it blossomed again, producing the sweetest fruit. As Jesus finished, he paused, allowing the story to settle within their hearts. The disciples pondered the symbolism, the connection between the tree and the bird, the mind and the body. He turned to Miriam, his eyes filled with compassion. "Just as the tree needed the bird's song, so too do you need to nurture the harmony between your mind and body. Your fears and doubts are like storms, but remember that within you lies the power to find joy, to heal. Embrace the beauty of your thoughts, let them sing to your heart and your body will follow. Your spirit is resilient just like that tree and you can rise again." Miriam's eyes sparkled with understanding, a light beginning to shine through the clouds of her worry. The disciples too felt a warmth spreading within them, a sense of hope rekindled. "Take a moment each day," Jesus continued, "to listen to the whispers of your heart. Dance, sing, and breathe deeply. Celebrate the gift of life, for the connection between your mind and body is sacred. When you nurture one, you uplift the other." Just then, a sudden gust of wind rustled through the trees, and a storm cloud rolled in, casting a shadow over the lake. The disciples looked up, worried, and the sound of thunder rumbled in the distance. Miriam's face turned pale as fear gripped her heart once more. Seeing her distress, Jesus stood up and gestured for her to join him. "Come, Miriam," he said, "let us face this together." He led her to the edge of the water, where they could feel the wind on their skin. "Close your eyes," he instructed. "Breathe deeply. Feel the earth beneath your feet. The storm may come, but you have the power to remain rooted. Just as the tree found strength in the bird's song, let the storm be a reminder of your inner strength." Miriam hesitated, but with Jesus beside her, she closed her eyes and focused on her breath. Inhale, exhale. As she steadied herself, she felt a warmth rising from her core, like roots digging deeper into the earth. The winds howled, but she remained grounded. As the storm raged on, Jesus began to sing softly, a calming melody that resonated with the rhythm of the wind. The disciples joined in, their voices rising in harmony. The sound enveloped Miriam like a comforting embrace, lifting her spirit above the chaos. With each note, Miriam felt her worries melt away. She opened her eyes to see the dark clouds swirling overhead, but instead of fear, she felt a surge of empowerment. The storm, once a source of dread, transformed into a powerful reminder of her resilience. "Look," Jesus said, pointing toward the horizon where the first stars began to twinkle through the storm clouds. Even in darkness, light remains. This is the essence of the mind-body connection. When your mind embraces positivity, your body follows suit. Miriam smiled, the weight lifting from her heart. I can choose how to respond, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the wind. I can sing even when the storm comes. Yes. Jesus exclaimed, joy lighting up his face. You have learned the greatest lesson. Life will bring storms, but it is your heart's song that will carry you through. As the storm began to pass, the clouds parted, revealing a beautiful night sky filled with stars. The disciples erupted in laughter, their voices mingling with the sound of the water, creating a symphony of joy. Miriam felt a warmth spreading through her. She stepped back from the water and twirled in the moonlight, her laughter echoing like a song. The disciples joined her, each one celebrating their own renewed spirits. They danced and sang, their hearts light, reminding each other that the mind and body were indeed intertwined. As the celebrations continued, Miriam turned to her fellow disciples, her voice full of gratitude. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. I was lost in my fears, but now I see that I am never alone. The disciples gathered around her, forming a circle of support. Simon the fisherman spoke up, we all face our storms. I remember a time when I felt like a failure on the sea, catching nothing for days. But when I let go of my fears and believed in the beauty of the ocean, I found abundance. Peter, who had often struggled with doubts, added, yes, it is when we open our hearts to each other that we find strength. When I shared my fears with you, I felt lighter, more connected. Inspired by their stories, Miriam felt a surge of hope. We are like that tree rooted in this community. When we sing together, we nurture each other's growth. Let us promise to always support one another. Jesus smiled, watching the bond between them strengthen. This is the essence of love, caring for one another, lifting each other up. Just as the tree flourishes in the embrace of the earth and the warmth of the sun, so too will your spirits thrive in the love you share. With the storm behind them, the night air felt fresher, filled with the scents of blooming flowers and the soft sounds of nature. The disciples began to share their own burdens, each one opening up about their fears and insecurities. Miriam listened closely as each person spoke. She realized that everyone carried a piece of the same struggle. From Matthew, who feared inadequacy in his role as a tax collector, to Mary, who worried about her future as a mother, they all had moments of doubt. In that sacred space by the lake, vulnerability became a source of strength. They shared stories of their past storms, times when they felt lost or overwhelmed. Laughter erupted as they recalled lighter moments, and tears flowed as they spoke of deeper pains. Each sharing brought them closer, weaving their experiences into a tapestry of understanding and love. As the night deepened, Miriam felt a profound sense of belonging. She realized that she was not just healing herself, she was part of something larger, a community that thrived on connection. With the stars shining brightly overhead, Jesus gathered everyone close. Remember this night, my friends. You have witnessed the power of the mind-body connection, not just within yourselves but within each other. In unity you find strength, and in strength you find joy. As dawn approached, a soft light began to break over the horizon, illuminating the lake and casting a golden glow on the faces of the disciples. The sky transformed into a palette of soft pastels, mirroring the renewal of hope in their hearts. Miriam stood at the water's edge, her heart swelling with gratitude. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, my friends. I promise to carry this lesson with me, to nurture my spirit and support those around me. With renewed energy they began to sing once more, this time a song of gratitude and hope. The melody soared into the morning sky, intertwining with the gentle lapping of the waves. It was a celebration of life, love, and the incredible bond they shared. As they finished their song, Jesus looked at them, his expression full of warmth and pride. You have created a beautiful tapestry of love and support. Carry this connection with you, for it is in these moments that you truly live. And as the sun rose, casting its first light upon the village, Miriam felt a deep sense of peace enveloping her. She understood now that she was never alone in her journey. She had a community that would always be there to lift her up, just as she would lift them. Days turned into weeks, and the bond among the disciples grew stronger. They began meeting regularly by the lake, sharing stories, laughter, and song. Each gathering felt like a celebration of life, a sanctuary where they could express their fears and joys openly. However, one day a troubling rumor spread through the village. A severe drought was approaching, threatening their crops and livelihoods. The villagers whispered of impending hardships, and the atmosphere grew heavy with anxiety. Miriam felt her heart sink. Could their newfound strength withstand such a test? As fear gripped the community, Jesus called his disciples together at the lake. "We must not let fear take root in our hearts," he said firmly, looking at each of them. "Just as the tree weathered the storm, we too must remain steadfast. Let us gather our strength and face this challenge together." Miriam spoke up, her voice trembling yet resolute. "But what can we do, Rabbi? If the drought comes, we may lose everything." Jesus smiled gently. "Remember, my dear friends, that our true abundance comes not from the earth, but from within us. Together we can pray for rain, but we must also cultivate hope and resilience in our hearts." Determined to foster hope, the disciples organized daily gatherings to pray for rain and share their fears. They supported each other through acts of kindness, sharing food, helping one another with chores, and nurturing their crops together. Miriam took it upon herself to encourage the women in the village. She organized gatherings where they could come together to share stories of hope and resilience. They sang songs that lifted their spirits, danced under the sun, and reminded each other of the strength they carried within. One evening, as they gathered by the lake, Miriam shared her fears openly. "I worry that our prayers will go unanswered. What if the rain doesn't come?" Mary, who had also been feeling the weight of the impending drought, took Miriam's hand. "We must trust in the power of our community. Look at how we've come together. Even if the rain doesn't come, we have each other." Inspired, Miriam suggested they plant a garden of hope by the lake, a symbol of their resilience and unity. The women agreed enthusiastically, and they began to sow seeds in the fertile soil, planting flowers and vegetables together. As they worked, they sang songs of hope, their laughter echoing through the air. The act of planting became a ritual of faith, a reminder that even in the face of uncertainty, they could cultivate beauty and joy. Days turned into weeks, and the drought finally arrived. The sun beat down relentlessly, and the earth cracked under its heat. The villagers' anxiety intensified as their crops withered. Some began to lose faith, feeling helpless against the relentless sun. One afternoon, as the sun hung low in the sky, Jesus gathered the disciples at the lakeside. "We must not succumb to despair," he urged, looking at their weary faces. "Let us gather in prayer and gratitude for what we have, even in these trying times." Miriam stood up, her heart racing. "Rabbi, what if our prayers do not reach the heavens? What if we are met only with silence?" Jesus smiled gently, his eyes shining with love. "Even in silence there is a lesson. Sometimes we must listen closely to the whispers of our hearts. Our faith is not merely about receiving. It is about giving, loving, and supporting one another." With renewed spirit, the disciples gathered in a circle, holding hands, and began to pray. They shared their gratitude for each other, for the strength they found in their unity. Miriam felt a warmth radiate through her body as she closed her eyes, surrendering her fears. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the group began to sing a song of hope, their voices rising in harmony. Suddenly, a soft breeze swept through the air, carrying with it a sense of peace. It felt as if the very earth was listening to their song. Miriam opened her eyes, and to her astonishment, she noticed dark clouds gathering in the distance. "Look!" she exclaimed, pointing toward the horizon. The disciples turned to see the clouds swirling above, thick and heavy with promise. As the first drops of rain fell, laughter erupted among the group. They danced in the rain, celebrating the return of life to their land. The droplets felt like a blessing, washing away their fears and filling their hearts with joy. "See," Jesus said, smiling at the wonder in their eyes. "Faith is not about certainty, it is about belief in one another and in the beauty of life itself." As the rain poured down, nourishing the earth, the community came together in gratitude. They understood that the drought had tested them, but it also strengthened their bonds. The garden of hope they had planted flourished, a testament to their resilience. With the rains came new life. The crops began to flourish, and the village was filled with the sense of blooming flowers and ripening fruit. The disciples gathered by the lake once more, their hearts filled with joy and gratitude. Miriam stood before her friends, her voice steady. "This experience has taught me so much about the power of our minds and bodies, about the strength of community. We must continue to nurture this bond and support each other, not just in times of hardship, but in times of joy as well." As the sun set, casting golden light across the lake, the disciples began to sing once more, their voices a celebration of life. They reflected on their journey, the storms they had faced, and the joy that emerged from their unity. Jesus looked at them with pride. "You have learned a valuable lesson, that life is a series of seasons. Embrace each one with an open heart. In the depths of winter, remember that spring will come again. In times of abundance, cherish the bonds that nurture your spirit." As months passed, the village thrived, and the disciples continued to gather regularly. They created a tradition of celebrating life's seasons, honoring both their struggles and their joys. They learned to support one another not only in times of crisis but also in moments of celebration, creating a rich tapestry of love and connection. Miriam took on a new role, leading workshops where villagers shared their stories and fears. She encouraged open dialogue, allowing others to express their vulnerabilities. The community learned to embrace their feelings, understanding that every emotion had a place in their lives. One day, as they gathered by the lake, an elderly woman approached, her face lined with wisdom and experience. "I've been watching you all," she said softly. "You have created something beautiful here. In my youth I faced many storms, but I never found the strength you have. Your unity is a gift." The villagers welcomed her with open arms, inviting her to share her stories. As she spoke of her struggles, the disciples listened intently, feeling a deep sense of connection to her experiences. They realized that every person's journey, no matter how different, held wisdom they could learn from. Inspired by the woman's tales, Miriam proposed a new tradition, a festival of stories. They would gather to share not only their joys and struggles but also the lessons they had learned along the way. Each person would take a turn, recounting their journey, celebrating the growth that came from their challenges. The first festival was filled with laughter and tears as villagers shared their experiences. From tales of love and loss to moments of triumph and joy, each story resonated deeply, weaving a tapestry of connection that united them further. Miriam listened as her friends spoke, feeling a profound sense of gratitude for the community they had built. She realized that their experiences, both painful and joyful, were the seeds from which they could all grow. As the years passed, the village flourished. They faced new challenges, harsh winters, unexpected storms, and personal struggles. But each time they returned to their shared lessons. They learned to weather the storms together, to dance in the rain, and to celebrate every season of life. Miriam continued to lead the workshops, becoming a beacon of hope and support for those in need. The garden by the lake flourished, a vibrant testament to their resilience. It became a gathering place for reflection, gratitude, and community. One day, as Miriam tended to the flowers, she noticed a young girl watching her intently. "What are you doing?" the girl asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. "I'm nurturing these flowers," Miriam replied, kneeling down to the girl's level. "Just like we nurture each other's hearts and minds. Flowers need love, water, and sunlight to grow, just as we need support and connection to flourish." The girl thought for a moment, then smiled. "Can I help?" Miriam's heart swelled with joy. "Of course. Let's plant some new seeds together." As they dug into the earth, Miriam felt a wave of hope. She realized that their legacy of connection and love would continue, blossoming in the hearts of future generations. The annual Festival of Stories became a beloved tradition, drawing people from neighboring villages. They gathered by the lake, sharing their experiences, laughter, and songs. Each year, they honored the lessons learned from storms weathered and the joy of connections forged. On one such festival day, Miriam stood before the gathered crowd, her heart overflowing with gratitude. "Today we celebrate not only our stories but the beautiful community we have built together. Each of you has contributed to this tapestry of love and support. We are like a garden, different flowers all growing together." As the sun set, casting a warm glow across the lake, the villagers joined hands, forming a circle. They sang songs of joy and gratitude, their voices mingling in harmony. The sound of their laughter echoed through the hills, a testament to their resilience and unity. Years later, as Miriam reflected on her journey, she understood that life was a series of seasons, some bright and sunny, others stormy and challenging. But through it all, she had learned that true strength lies in connection, in supporting one another through every challenge. One evening, she gathered her friends by the lake to celebrate the changing of the seasons. "As we enter this new season," she said, her voice filled with warmth, "let us remember the lessons we have learned. Let us continue to nurture our minds and bodies and support one another through every storm and every sunny day." The disciples nodded, their hearts full of love and gratitude. They knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united in their shared experiences. As the sun set on another beautiful day, Miriam looked around at her friends, each one a testament to the power of the mind-body connection and the beauty of community. They had weathered storms, celebrated victories, and supported each other through life's challenges. In that moment, she understood that their journey was not just about survival, it was about thriving. They had cultivated a garden of resilience, a legacy of love that would continue to flourish for generations to come. And so, as they sat together by the lake, under the stars that twinkled like promises of hope, they knew that they were forever intertwined, a community that celebrated life in all its seasons, united by the threads of love, support, and shared wisdom. As the night deepened and the stories continued to flow, Miriam felt an overwhelming sense of peace. She realized that the true essence of life lay in the connections they had forged, the hearts they had touched, and the love that would echo through time, reminding them that together, they could weather any storm and celebrate every joy. This is end of the story. Please like this video and subscribe this channel for more Jesus story like this. May the God watch over you.